All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to actually build out the main page. Now, this is going to be a little bit complicated just because we're going to have to space things correctly. I think it'll be complicated. There might be an easy way to do it using relative positioning, which I hope there is. So, for the image of the Vault Boy, which is the mascot of the Pipboy, I've found an image and I need to edit it a little bit. It's this one right here. I just searched Vault Boy on Google and I found this one. And if I flip it, it'll look like the correct position or direction rather. And then we can just place that into the page. So how we're going to do that is I need to open up a tool to actually edit the image a little bit first. So the image is right here and I can't open it from here. So one sec. So I need to open with GIMP. If you guys don't have this, you can go grab it. It's an image editing tool, and if you're doing web design, you should probably learn how to use GIMP as well. So just go to gimp.org. And there should be a download available for you for Windows or Mac OS, depending on your version, should automatically be detected. Now, if you're using Linux, I would recommend just installing from your package manager. That's the easiest way. And the package should just be called GIMP. So what I've got to do, I'm going to select the select tool, and then right-click, go to Layer, click Transform, and then flip horizontally. So there, that's in the direction that we want them. Now, what we also have to do is we need to make this a PNG image by removing the white from behind him. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to right-click, add alpha channel, and then I'm going to let's use the layer mask method. So in this video, I guess we're going to be learning a little bit about graphic design. So I'm going to copy this layer, just hit Control-Z, and then Control-V. I'm going to paste this to a new layer. Now, we're going to work specifically on this. We're going to desaturate and then adjust the brightness and contrast to the point where this part is white and the white is black. And we're going to create a layer mask out of that, and black tells the layer mask that that part is supposed to be transparent. So up in colors here, I'm going to go to desaturate, and I'm going to try and get the one that has the most contrast, which is lightness right there. I'm going to go to colors and invert the color, and now I'm going to play around with the brightness and contrast. So this looks about the best that I'm going to get it without any fringe on the outside. You can kind of see that right there. So I'm going to click OK. I'm going to jump in here with a paintbrush, a white paintbrush with a full hardness, I guess it's called. And I'm just going to go over the insides of the image to make the entire figure be white. I'm going to have to go over that hair with a smaller brush here in a minute. So this might take a couple minutes, although it's just the head part of the suit and then the hands that need to be done. So it shouldn't take too long. And there's probably an easier way to do this too. If I went into levels, it may have provided the ability to get this exactly how we need it. There we go. One more hand. And we've got it done. I just need a smaller brush here. To do that bit of gray. All right. So let's zoom out. I'm going to go back into colors and I'm going to try and get that contrast to the point where the background is actually black. I think right there will be fine. So I'm going to click OK. Now I'm going to Control C this and then hide the layer, reshow the bottom one, and I'm going to right click and go to Add Layer Mask. And we are going to say Black Full Transparency. And then on this layer right here, I'm going to Control V, and I'm going to right click and click Anchor Layer. Now, we can now apply the layer mask, and we have a transparent image of what we need. So I'm going to go export this as a PNG. So vb.png, and that's for Pipboy. I'm going to go ahead and export it. And there we go. Now, in the main status panel, here's where we're going to be working with this. So let me jump back over to the web browser here and have a look at how it's set up. So it needs to be a centered image. So I'm going to create, I guess one div for now. Center-image. And then down here, I'm going to just create the actual image source. It's going to be vb.png. And that's it. I'm going to save it and refresh, and there we've got our Pipboy. Now I'm going to center this. So margin, auto. Display is going to be block. Position is going to be relative, and then max height is going to be 400 pixels. Let's say 300. There we go. Now this isn't right yet, and I'm going to add margin top of 100 pixels. And that looks a little better. So I'm going to copy this. We're going to drop this into our style sheet, which is right Pipboy app.css. I'm going to say center-image, and there we go. I'm going to save and refresh, and there. Now, something interesting to note about these images that I've got down here, these are actual image elements, and they're using just regular images. If I go here, we'll see it's a full colored image. So what I've done to it is I've added a filter that makes it grayscale, puts sepia, and it kind of like rotates the hue there. So we're going to mimic that in here. So let me drop in here, and I'm going to select filter. We're going to say grayscale. And the value for that should actually be 1. And I think they're using that one. There we go. So we've grayscaled it. Now what we've got to do is a rotate of hue, or sepia. And the sepia will turn it all one color, which will be red. And then we add hue rotate, which is, it is separated by a dash there. So hue dash rotate, and we're going to rotate it 50 degrees. And now it's kind of green. So we're going to increase the saturation by 1. Actually, what was that? Saturate. Saturation is not a value. Say 11, no. 7 looks about right. And then we also have brightness and contrast added on that. So brightness 1, and then contrast is 0.9. I had it on the other one. And it's going to need to be 1.5. 2. That looks about right. Once we add the scan lines to this, it's going to look great. So I'm going to copy this one other property here, and I'm going to add it, and then save, and we're going to refresh, and we get that, which looks quite a bit like that. Now, once we add the scan lines and the dark background, it's all going to start coming together. Before we do that, we need to add the bottom part here. So let's go ahead and create a footer. And in here, I'm just going to create columns. Yeah, let's do that. Div class row. This will be div class col medium, or rather col 3. And here we'll have HP 90 out of 90. It's going to be 6. And this one will say level 1. And then we'll add an image probably, or just a regular div. Let's do that. So div class level progress. There we go. And then the one on the right has AP. So div class col 3. There we go. So save this. We're going to refresh this. And now we're going to style the footer. Which is right here. We're going to say position fixed. Bottom is going to be 0. And width is going to be 100%. Now looking at that, that looks a little better, but we need a bit of margin around it. And I'm going to say 10 pixels. And then in the width, we need to account for that because as you can see, it's trailing off the right-hand side. So we'll say for a width, we're going to calculate 100% of the page width minus 10 pixels. And it's going to need to be 20 because there's margin on both sides. So there we go. Let's copy and paste this. We're going to add a class to that to be pip-footer. Save this. Jump back over to our CSS. We're going to add pip-footer. There we go. Going to save it and refresh, and that's what we've got. So that's all we're doing in this video. In the next video, we can start styling things.